Helix Sleep. We've talked about it, raved about it, and we'll continue to do so for the rest of our lives because we love sleeping on our Helix mattress. Wherever we go, we are making sure that Helix is what we are sleeping on. We have a Helix mattress in all of our guest bedrooms. Every single person who stays with us always asks what that mattress was that they slept on, and we say it's a Helix mattress. And then they ask us if we can give them one, and if we can, we do, and if we can't, then we tell them to go to helixmattress.com because their prices are amazing. They can get it on their own, especially with our special code. They have a lineup of 20 unique mattresses for all kinds of sleepers. Doesn't matter how you sleep, hot, cold. Maybe you have some back pain. Maybe you're snoring. Maybe you have some sleep apnea. Helix mattress can help with every type of sleeper, including the big and tall and the kid sleepers, recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. Also, you don't have to take our word for it. They have a 100-night sleep trial, so you can do whatever you want on that mattress for 100 nights. And if you're not absolutely obsessed with your Helix mattress, you can send it back for a full refund. Also, their mattresses come with a 10 to 15-year warranty depending on the mattress, so you know you're in good hands. For their Labor Day sale best of web offer, go to helixsleep.com/VIALL for 27% off site-wide, exclusive for our listeners of the Viall Files. That's helixsleep.com/VIALL for 27% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/VIALL.
I know it's been a while since you have refreshed that underwear drawer. I know they're crusty, they're dusty, and that's why you need to replenish them with Skims. Skims underwear is the best underwear on the planet. The Fits Everybody dipped front thong is a go-to of mine. It's a standout favorite. The fabric is insanely stretchy, soft, and supportive. It hugs in all the right places without digging in. It's become a staple in my top drawer because it feels like I'm wearing nothing, yet still makes me feel confident and put together. So you don't need all this lingerie. You don't need lace. You don't need this. You don't need that. You just need Skims basics to feel sexy. Also, I have to say their Fits Everybody t-shirt bra is the most flattering bra, the most comfortable bra after giving birth. We all know my boobies were to the ground. They were to the ground, and I wasn't confident, and I hated them until I put on that Fits Everybody t-shirt bra, and now I'm feeling lifted, confident, hot, sexy, everything you want to feel when you look in the mirror. Shop my favorite bras and underwear at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey, and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows.
You're crazy.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
I am Taylor, and I am 36 years old.
How can I help, Taylor?
I am wondering if I need to leave the country to find a boyfriend.
Did you commit a crime? Are you running from the law?
Not yet.
Okay. Why do you feel like you might need to leave the country to find a boyfriend?
I've had the same dating stories that a lot of your callers have, just trouble finding good guys who I think offer some of the qualities I'm looking for. And I was recently in Europe, and the men were just different. I don't know if dating culture is there, if they're just more forward, if they're more willing to approach you, or if I just had rose-colored glasses on. But I think my experience there just made me question whether my man might live somewhere in Europe.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, it's probably a little bit of everything. I'm curious, like, let's break down, what are you experiencing here stateside? And what were some of that you alluded to them a little bit, but what were some of the things that really made you ask this question about, men abroad?
Yeah, I mean, I live in a relatively large city, and before that I lived in LA, so I have been in large cities, and I just find that men either don't approach you, or if they do, they don't really take initiative. And I think even if you go out, sometimes I just don't even see men that I'm all that attracted to, or have kind of the complete package and are what I'm looking for. And so when I was in Europe, like, we would be out to dinner, and the men at the next table would say, like, when you're done, come over and join us, like, have some wine with us, or they would just be much more open to having a conversation. And it was never creepy or awkward, which I think sometimes in the US, if someone is going to come up to you, maybe they're too aggressive or they're too forward. It just seemed like culturally they were just more interested in talking to you, getting to know you. And it just made things a little bit more fun and exciting.
And so, like, stateside, is it really just more like just dating culture in terms of the initial stages of dating, where it's not necessarily about the men you're dating, but like just you're not even getting that far? It's the men you're not meeting?
I mean, I would say there hasn't been a guy who I've been like really interested probably in 3 years. And I moved to my current city a year and a half ago and just haven't had the best luck here either. You hate to be the woman who says, like, dating is hard, where are the good men? But I have so many single girlfriends who have like awesome qualities and their experience is the same. So,
What are the men that you're going for here?
I mean, I will take blame. I probably am interested in the wrong types of guys sometimes, I think. And I'm definitely a fixer and a bit of a people pleaser. So you get down the road with someone, and then once you're a bit invested in them, it's easy to say, like, I can change them when they're clearly not ready for a relationship or are not looking for the same things you are or are not ready to settle down. But, there just aren't even that many options. I wouldn't say like I've even had a crush on someone in a while.
And so are you like not even getting into the second or third date?
I mean, the last date I went on, the guy, I showed up at the coffee place, which was his idea. He was sitting down. He already had his coffee, and I walked in, said hi, and he's like, okay, you can go get yours. So I went in line, stood by myself for 10 minutes.
So immediately
my
you're like,
coffee.
ick. Yeah.
And then I told him that I had to go pick up my dog from the groomer after about 15 minutes, which was not true, but I just needed to get out of there.
What was his energy like in those 15 minutes?
Just lazy.
Yeah.
Just like lazy energy. Didn't feel like he needed to. I don't need someone to like sweep me off my feet, but like act like excited to be there, excited to have a conversation, act interested, I think.
I'm curious because I'm fascinated by this call because, obviously like the way you presented it obviously sounds a little silly, but maybe there is truth in just like how men in different cultures or parts of the world are acting differently. You said you're 36?
Yeah.
So obviously still very young, but you are old enough. You were dating 15, 16 years ago, right? And I'm curious, from your perspective, have things gotten worse? How have things changed? Is this something you're noticing recently? Has it always been like this from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pool feels like it's a lot smaller. Like when I was a little bit younger, there were at least guys who were like, oh, that guy's hot, or that guy has, a great career, a great family, is kind, is funny, all the things. So there was at least a pool of people. And then granted, there's a lot of bad behavior and people do bad things or it's not a good fit. But now it just feels like there's not even a pool of great guys to choose from. And it's like you don't know where to look. And like I said, you don't want to be the girl who's saying like they don't exist, because I know there's lots of great men out there, guys I know who are my friends, but it's hard to find them. And part of Europe could be that like you have rose-colored glasses on and you're on vacation and it's like a sexier vibe and it's fun and you're more open to it. But I think just anecdotally, a lot of my friends have the same experience here.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right with the rose-colored glasses, and you come in, you're coming in vacation mode with a different energy. But the picture you painted, yeah, that doesn't sound like your typical like group of American men to have that kind of bravado to invite a group of women over to their table for some wine.
Yeah, we were like getting up about to leave, and they were behind us, and they were like, "Hey, like, why don't you come over and have a drink with us, hang out?" And we just ended up chatting with them. We stayed out for a little while.
Did you find them attractive?
Yeah, I love an accent.
What about their face or their height? Or...
One, yes. Two, no.
Okay. Did anyone hook up with anyone?
I did.
Okay.
The next night with a different person that I met.
Oh, okay. All right. So you were really on fire. You were feeling. You were like thinking. I'm on a heater here.
Yeah, I'm the queen of Europe. Like
Taylor's back. Yeah. I mean, listen. I
don't know if you have this experience, because I know you like obviously talk to a lot of women and probably have female friends. But like, if they're asking, do you know like more women who are a catch, I will say, than your pool of male friends?
Objectively, no, I don't think that's the case. I'm saying that objectively.
Yeah.
Obviously, the girlies are always going to prop each other up and things like that. I think all people have their flaws and have their toxicity. This idea that women have remained as eligible and as wonderful as they have ever been, while men societally over time in America have just gotten worse and worse and worse. I don't think that's the case. I think I think there's a lot of reasons why our dating culture has nosedived to what it is today. I think it's affecting both of the genders. You talked about how men in like Europe approach, right? I mean, this has been talked about. I think we referenced it on this show a few times before, but like there's a lot of women online. telling men and young men, do not approach me. Do not talk to me. I don't, do not come up to me in a parking lot. I saw this one video online. There is this like very attractive young blonde woman who was like coaching other women online. If a man approaches you in a parking lot, you scream at him and say, do not approach me. As if he's like a psycho, And it's like, if you're a guy and you see that, you're like, okay, no, I don't, fuck. And I'm sure this woman was well-intentioned. And listen, like I don't, let me explain it to me, but like there's enough of bad actors of men out there who have done some terrible things, horrendous things, that sadly all women have a story about fucking a creepy guy. And creepy men are more dangerous and more scary than creepy women. You know, and that's just a reality, right? But yeah, and so, I think there's just a lot of bad advice in general going on online, and I think you're seeing the results of that a lot. That being said, like, what's the age range in which you're dating?
Ideally, it would probably be like 32 to 45, but my preference would probably be somewhere closer to my age, 36.
Okay. Why?
It's a great question. I mean, older maybe a little bit better. I want kids. I want someone who wants kids. I don't mind if they already have their own. I think I just want someone with like a young energy, regardless of what their actual age is.
Well, I would argue there's a handful of men who might be older than you and say they're mid 40s who live younger than their age suggests and yada, yada, yada. I just, you might have to age up a little bit. Listen, be open to anything, but like because men are developing slower and are even more immature than they were in years, like the chances you're going to find a 32-year-old that you want more than just a good time with is probably unlikely. But yeah, 45, 50 is a little old. But that 5 number, getting closer than I want. Anyway.
It's just even like, yes, if I could.
Are you on the apps? I'm assuming. Probably
I'm on Raya, but I deleted Hinge because it was actively depressing me. Why and Raya's is awful also. It's just like a good ego boost and fun to see like what single guy is in Copenhagen.
Yeah, but I do think that's probably warping your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
There is a reality out there of how social media and dating apps has affected, I honestly think, a lot of the perspectives of women. I mean, there's a lot of data out there. I don't think it's bullshit. It's real. And we all know you all love a tall guy, right? And the reality is like 2% of the men out there are over 6 foot, whatever. But it doesn't seem like that online, right?
Right.
And the algorithm knows what you all like, right? So you guys are being like, so when you're on Raya, right? And for the people who don't know, Raya is like a celebrity app that only has hot people on it. It's just going to warp your perspective. It's going to warp your perspective what an eligible bachelor might actually look like in your perspective. How do you not compare the DJ in Copenhagen versus Chad down the street who's like maybe a pretty solid guy.
Which, to be fair, I don't want the DJ in Copenhagen either, but it's
I know, but I do think there is I think there's this. Listen, if I'm being real, I think there's a sentiment that a lot of the ladies have out there that their non-negotiables include a guy who's over 6 foot and makes a certain type of living. I think 85% of the women are going after 10% of the men out there. I think that's the reality. There's literally data out there that suggests that's what's going on. Certainly on the apps, right? Yeah. But I think that's also happening just in general, which isn't like, I don't know what you're supposed to do about that, because I do think it's a deeper issue in general. I mean, as silly as it sounds, I mean, I'm not saying you should move, right? But like, I don't know, maybe there's something to be said about like our American culture over the past several years has almost become too sensitive and too self-aware and too like everyone's online sharing their opinion about what you should or shouldn't do. And as a result, you now have a bunch of men out there who don't even know how to talk to women, let alone like even think they're supposed to approach people in public. They just lack the general confidence. There's a select group of men out there just with too many options, and they're just leaning into the fact that like they're getting all the matches online and things like that. But this sounds like I'm just painting an even worse picture for you. Yeah,
I am going back to Europe at the end of September into October, and I might just like be more open to what that looks like. I mean, ideally, I would love to meet someone in person and not online. And
In this new,
It's
like, what
just
do you?
hard to have
Yeah,
that
what is
mindset here
in your
in the US.
in the city that you live? What does your week look like between like work and
Yeah.
your personal life? Where are you spending your time?
Yeah, I mean, I spend a decent amount of time at work, but I work in an interesting industry, so I meet interesting people. I go to the gym. It's a small gym. I should probably go to a bigger gym.
Yeah.
I try to go out with my girlfriends and friends. I don't know,
And when the girlies are
2 to
going
3
out,
times a week.
are you guys? It's just like to the bars or restaurants and shit.
Yeah, and then even when you do go out, like you're not getting approached much, or I'm looking around and saying like,
Do you ever approach?
"Oh yeah, totally."
You do. Okay. And
But
what?
I just don't see that many guys lately who I would want to approach, but
Yeah.
I'm not shy about that, I wouldn't say.
All right. I'm curious. All right. So were you looking at the guys at the table in Europe? Did you even notice their existence?
No.
Okay. That is a data point, so to speak, in the sense, right?
Mhm.
The fact that like here you are, you're painting this picture of you in America. You're going out. You're not really noticing the men that you're just not even like. I don't even notice guys. You didn't even notice these men. The difference between those men and these men is they approached you. They had the bravado, whatever. This is something they do. They made it safe, organic, and fun. The big question is, would you women have said yes stateside? Where like in Europe, you're like, fuck it, we're here. Why not? We don't know where else to go. Like YOLO. Would you
Yeah.
have done that here? I don't know.
I think it depends on the vibes of the guys who were approaching,
Yeah.
but sure.
When you go out to bars,
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
kind of bars are you going to?
Like cocktail bars or like
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
not like crazy party scene.
Sports
Try
bars?
that.
Is sports bars?
I do like sports.
A good sports bar is listen, you might get hit on for all the wrong reasons, so to speak, or it might be a bunch of obnoxious men, but it'd be interesting if the girls got together. NFL season's about to come up. A lot of Sunday fun day afternoons, football games. Girlies get together, get a table at a place that like has the games on. I feel like you all would get approached and have a good time.
Okay, we're gonna put it to the test.
So, I mean, I guess, here we are. I'm just literally just brainstorming off the top of my head. I'm like, what the fuck can she do? I don't fucking know. Like, because I can't. The truth is, without knowing and having been to Europe, is like, yeah, there's probably a little bit of truth, right? It wouldn't be shocked to realize that, like, maybe men in Europe, yeah, are just like, I don't know. I think American men, for a lot of reasons, don't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to dating anymore. Most of them. And again, the good ones are just being fuck boys because they have so many options.
Mhm.
And when you're on the apps and 80% of the women on the apps are going after you and like 10% of the other men, you will never run out of options. I really think the greatest privilege in modern history is men who are over 6 foot, because the way women treat them.
Yeah, if you're over 6 foot and you have hair,
you are
killing life.
You can honestly, in some cases, could have murdered someone and you'll still probably get a second chance. Literally. I mean, it's crazy. And then again, I think there's also an element of, yeah, would you have said yes to these guys stateside?
Mhm.
I do think whether y'all like it or not, culturally, the message to men overwhelmingly over the past few years has been, don't be a creep. We're tired of your shit. We're tired of the way you've been treating us. And again, there's so much truth to that, right? But when you blast out a message to everyone, when that message really should be directed to a smaller percentage of bad actors, and then you have those bad actors honestly not listening or giving a fuck. And meanwhile, this message is going out to all these people being like, just don't be a fucking creep. That I think you're dealing with that situation. I do think in general, in the short term, I think women, whether they like it or not, are going to just have to get better at approaching men. I mean, really, you just
got to find the places where the good men are to approach.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, listen, I was always a generally confident guy, and I always, I'm 6'2", good looking enough, have the hair, so to speak. When I felt confident one-on-one, I had more, a lot of people would argue I have too much confidence for my own good. But I was never like that swaggy to walk up to some girl at a bar and throw a line. And I was okay, but I wasn't great. More often than not would chicken out, right? Yeah, so I can't imagine and I'm a guy who generally had a lot of confidence, right? So it's never easy, and I think it's even more impossible today. Honestly, I do think it's a bit of a crisis. I do think, like, not to sound kind of doomsday,
it really
but
is
I think
a challenge. I don't know, but it's There's not an easy solution.
I think culturally, like, not to like go on a tangent, but like my audience is mostly women. And as a male host, I'm proud of that fact that like whatever, I whatever I'm doing, right, and empathize with women and do it, understand. And I've learned a lot from y'all. I wish I had a larger male audience because I wish more men would be interested in this type of stuff. I think we need better role models, and I don't know, like the discourse needs to change around men in general, or men and women, or whatever, but there needs to be kind of a dating revolution that's not in digital. I hope I'm lucky enough to have a son, because I hope that I can, at least with my kids, raise my son to be everything the modern man isn't today, because it feels like we've talked a little bit about this with some of the recent shows we've covered, like Perfect Match and Bachelor in Paradise, where it's just like, I think the young men have learned to be more sensitive, so to speak. They're like in touch with their feelings, but like not necessarily in a mature sort of way. They almost feel like entitled. It's like now they know how to communicate their feelings, but now their feelings are more valid than anyone else's. Now they
can be weaponized.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, that's not what I meant by being more vulnerable, but like, sure. They're more vulnerable, but not empathetic. Well, because a lot of it is they just don't know how to be around women. They don't have experience. They haven't heard from women. All they hear from women is what they're hearing online, and that is that they suck. And then so women become the enemy of the it's just it's a fucking mess. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. And that's, things aren't going to get better anytime soon. So as someone who's your age at the time in life, let's not focus on what's wrong. I think you literally, like, you got to challenge yourself to mix it up. And honestly, with football season coming around, sports bars during the day, it's more of a hang, vibey thing. I think a group of young, attractive women at a table will stand out at a sports bar. You're going to get approached. And you're going to have to deal with the douchebags and, which I'm sure you're used to. You know what it's like to deal with the riffraff in the pursuit of something nice. I think the big takeaway is you're going to have to be willing, and that's something I think in general none of us are good at, is you're going to have to be willing get to know men that your initial instincts wouldn't be to swipe right, so to speak.
Right.
You're just going to have to, because I think feel lucky and surprised if you happen to run into the hot 6'2", 6'1" guy who's single and available out at the bars. But
doesn't know that he's hot. That's what you need there.
That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist anymore.
I
mean, if that is honestly part of your criteria, I think you do need to adjust your criteria. If you're looking for the like, oh my God, he doesn't even know how hot he is. Come on, he knows. I think social media has warped the perspective of women more than it's warped the perspective of men.
Well, I think, because it's so easy to compare yourselves. And then you think, look at all these. I think it skews your view of like the women that exist in the world, and it skews your view of the men that exist in the world.
Yeah. Because like you said, you didn't even notice these guys in Europe. The difference is they approached you, and because you were on vacation, you were just like, fuck it. Where if that happened here, you'd been like, I don't know, it's getting late. I have to work tomorrow. My dog's waiting for me. I'm just going to fucking go home. I don't know, whatever. And I don't even, there's three of us, and there's only one hot guy, and whatever. They don't have accents. And I think you have to be surprised. I think because there's less and less men with the bravado and the confidence to approach women, whether we like it or not, I think that is the reality we live in. And I think we have to adjust our new reality. And I think the reality is that if you're sitting around waiting, like I think people could 15 years ago, 15 years ago, dating apps weren't what they were. Most people weren't even on them. And if they were, they weren't even talking about it. It was like, I know. I'm not.
Embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. And you thought you could lie about it because no one cool was on it. And so, people were just had to be more social in public. They had to go out. They had to make moves. That's not the reality anymore. And then within that, we've confused people how they're supposed to act. The good news is a lot of the people it's really affected are in their 20s, and mostly, I'm guessing you're not really fucking with most of them. I do think you and your friends should maybe age up a bit.
Like to what? Like 50?
Nah, 40s. I think there's a handful of guys like me who were unlucky in love in their 20s, had all the confidence in the world, had success with women, knew how to talk to and about women, didn't work out for them, were comfortably single for a while, and then pursued, got their shit together, so to speak, and they might be available. But who knows? Who knows? But I think there's something there with the sports bar kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay. A European sports bar. That's where I'm
The
headed.
European sports bar, yeah. I do, yeah, and I just think extracurricular activities. Like, what are you guys doing outside of work in the bars or like in dinners?
Like run clubs and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
super into that. But
What about
I
beach
mean,
volleyball or something? I don't fucking know. There has
Yeah.
to be
kickball leagues.
the one good thing you have, and all the single and anyone listening who's relating to you, and even the men out there, is that everyone feels this way. Like, this is a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And my optimistic hope is that, like, as a society, we're going to be like, there's a problem going on. There is an epidemic that people want to meet each other. I mean, we haven't talked too much about it. It was announced not too long ago, but Natalie and I are hosting a new show for Netflix. And I don't want to give too much away, but I was encouraged because part of the show was essentially a big mixer. And we, through casting a bunch of people from different walks of life and different ages and things like that, it was really encouraging how excited the people were and grateful that we got together a large group of people who all were just like excited about meeting people. And everyone was fairly eligible. Well, everyone was eligible. And the result was great, right? And what it told me is that, like, yeah, people just don't know how to meet. There's just so many roadblocks and barriers and obstacles to meet. But when you get human beings who are single and available together, connections will happen. And
yeah, if you can like curate a room of
yeah,
people who might have similar interests, be at a similar stage, who are single, like that's awesome. It's
maybe
just hard to find those rooms.
Maybe there's a business idea out there for you and your friends in your city. Go to the sports bar, find out, then talk to the sports owner. Right? And be like, hey, I have this crazy idea. Can I host some kind of fucking mixer, blah, blah, blah? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Maybe that's silly or stupid. I don't know. And yeah, when you listen, start small, and any business idea is going to have its growing pains. And the wrong people are going to show up and whatever. But like, the demand for love hasn't changed. In the supply chain of how people are meeting, it's all fucked up. The desire for people to meet their person, start a family if that's in what they want to do, hasn't gone away. And that's the one silver lining we all have. You're going to have to look in the mirror, because complaining about your options, regardless if that's true or not, it just doesn't accomplish anything. And there's definitely changes you and your friends can make, or at least try different things out, because whatever you're all doing right now isn't working. I don't have a problem with getting off Hinge because you find it frustrating. The fact that you're on Raya and not on any other app, I think is a problem. I
think it's more like entertainment value, and you.
I know, but so is porn for some men, and you could argue that porn's, truly, all jokes aside, is like ruining dating and ruining sex and ruining relationships, and we have to be careful about how we are entertained, because it might be fun, but it is, I think, affecting a perspective. How can you possibly go on Raya and then go on any other apps and be excited?
No, I don't feel great when
you lived in LA. You know what you lived in LA. You know what it's like to hang out in LA and then go to any other city in the world and just go out in public. Like every hot person in every county ever moved to LA. The 6s in LA are 10s everywhere else, type of thing. Men and women. And so that's what it's like to be on an app where it's only hot people. It's dangerous.
It's true. I'm getting rid of it.
But to your point, it's just like a validation thing where everyone out there just wants to know how many hot people they can match with.
As much as you like have self-love and inner confidence, we all like external validation.
And and you're right. It is fun because every once in a while you're like, oh my God, Ben Affleck, damn. Okay. Swipe right.
I know this was a hard question to say, like, yeah, should I just pick up and move to another country and will dating get better? But I think it's just like,
but if you do
overall indicative of where we are.
But when you go to Europe though, like, I mean, have fun with and be almost scientific where you are, last time you went, you had this experience and it made you go back, is it different here? But now when you go, pay attention to how you move. Yeah. Not only pay attention to how they move. And ask yourself, what am I doing differently than I would here? Try to replicate that same energy when you're here. Yeah. Because there is something about traveling or moving to a new city where you free yourself up from the self-judgment and you move differently. If you're always going home early or not, then like the best times on vacation is when you do things differently and say, well, I'm on vacation, so And then you're like, we just had one of those nights. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to have a night like that here?
Yeah, never.
So, before moving your life, I would try that out.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is like your own energy when you're in a new place and like how you present yourself and how you feel and how open you are. Whereas we get into our routines at home and like you're around the same people and you're kind of like, okay, it's the same thing. I'm gonna go home.
And clearly those men realized that you were a bunch of American women and they probably gave themselves permission to like do something maybe they wouldn't do with women in their community.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I could picture some American men seeing a group of women and, and realizing they were not from here. Then they'd be like, fuck it. I don't give a shit. She lives in fucking Australia. Yeah. So there's a little bit of truth to all that, but it's like, try to replicate the things that are working for you when you're traveling.
I think you have to be more aware of like the energy you're putting out and how people are perceiving you when you're home and you're just, nothing's new or exciting.
Apps will always be somewhat useful as long as they exist, and that is how people are meeting people. So it's hard for me to say don't go on the apps. But I do think culturally we need to change how people are meeting because the desire is still there. And I do think there are great men out there. There are.
I agree. They're just hard to find.
Yeah, but I think they're hard to find because I don't think they present as super sexy eligible. You might not have an immediate crush on them. I mean, the reality is the guy that you see across the restaurant or the bar that you're just like, oh my God, he's fucking a lot of good chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I mean, most of the guys who I've like grown to have an attraction to were people that I worked with. And then like over time, you saw them for the first time. You're like, oh, like Bob's cool. But then like you get to know them and you're around them and there's like no pressure. And then attraction grows. I absolutely believe in that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just going to have to try things out, probably before you move to Europe, but
I'll stick around a little longer.
All right. Well, hopefully this is helpful. This is it's hard because it's such a general, like, solve dating, Nick.
I wanted to challenge you.
Thanks. Well, keep us posted. We'd certainly always love an update if you find any data or feedback.
I will send it in.
But yeah, I think like a group, if you're going out to dinner with the girls, you're just not going to get like we've been told not to approach you, especially at dinner. Oh my God. Like what kind of psycho man would do that, in America? His friends would be like, do you want to get shot?
I should start sending drinks to the tables of men.
Honestly, there's definitely an element of like, we're just going to have to fuck around and find out and try things out and not take ourselves so seriously and mix it up. And in the meantime, maybe you can create a small business, a mixer in your community or because there are people out there. There is a lot of lonely men in your city. Wherever you are, I promise you, there are lonely men.
Okay, I'll send you a cut if that business takes off.
No, I don't need it. I'm good.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, take care. This is an ad by BetterHelp. Well, if you are going through life and you're feeling a little bit stressed or you have something built up anxiety, you should check out BetterHelp. If you're someone who's been wondering, could I benefit from therapy? Should I try to get a therapist? Or maybe you tried it in the past and didn't have good luck with the experience of the therapist that you had, or you had a hard time. Maybe you were like thinking about therapy and then you didn't know how to find a therapist. Well, maybe BetterHelp is the solution for you. It probably is. There's a lot of barriers that make therapy challenging. Again, it can be expensive. It can be inconvenient. You don't know where to start finding the right therapist. Well, BetterHelp helps alleviate all of those pain points. It's incredibly convenient. All you need is a device to connect to the internet, and you can be talking with a mental health professional in just a short period of time, however you want to do it. Even if you feel more comfortable not sharing your face, you can do voice-to-voice therapy, whatever you benefit from. And with over 30,000 therapists that BetterHelp is working with, it helps ensure that you can find a therapist that's right for you. A big part about therapy is connecting with that therapist, feeling comfortable with that therapist. And, sometimes you meet with a therapist and you don't feel like it goes anywhere. Well, maybe that's not the right therapist for you. You can switch therapists anytime you want for free with BetterHelp until you land on someone that you connect with. So whether it's the convenience, the price, or the ability to connect with a great therapist, BetterHelp has been helping people for over 10 years and running and has a 4.9 rating out of 1.7 million client session reviews. So it works. So if you have ever thought about therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Just go to betterhelp.com, answer a few questions about the challenges that you're dealing with and the help that you're looking for, and they will connect you with the right mental health professional. As the world's largest online therapy provider, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/VIALL. That is betterhelp.com/VIALL. Well, we've talked about Article many times before because they have been our partner when it comes to furnishing some of the rooms in our house. Article has a great selection of mid-century modern, coastal, and Scandi-inspired pieces for every room in your house, including your outdoor space. We have some great Article pieces in our backyards. They're kind of like fancy beanbag lounge chairs. We also have sunbeds, really great. Article couches are amazing. They come in a great assortment of colors, styles. Also, what I love about Article is not only their selection, but their availability and their prices. So many times when you're shopping for furniture, you have to wait weeks, sometimes months for that furniture. But now with Article, most of their pieces are ready to ship right now. And their customer care team is amazing. With Article's 30-day satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence, knowing that if you're not completely in love with your new furniture, you can easily return it. This peace of mind ensures you can invest in your home without hesitation. Great craftsmanship, wonderfully durable. Their prices will blow your mind. They cut out the middleman. They don't have any showrooms. So you're shocked by the prices with the quality that you get with Article. Article is offering fast, affordable shipping across the US and Canada with options for professional assembly if you prefer a hands-off experience. So if you're looking to upgrade any room in your house, be sure to check out Article today. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/VIALL and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. How's it going?
Hi, Nick. Going well. My name is Allison. I'm 33 years old, and I want to know if I should ask out my doctor.
Okay. Yes. He's not your gynecologist, is he?
No,
Okay.
no.
Good. That'd be weird. All right. Well, tell us about it.
Yeah, so I've been seeing the same GP for the past 3 years. Got a note recently that he was leaving the practice and that I'd be seeing a new doctor the next time I came in. Kind of thought nothing of it. So I showed up for my annual appointment a few months ago thinking it would be another middle-aged doctor, no one really of interest. And in walked a complete smoke show, really, really attractive young guy, about my age, it seemed, wasn't wearing a wedding ring, just complete charisma. And it really caught me off guard.
He had charisma in the office?
Charisma in the office.
Damn, is that
Riz,
allowed?
as the kids say.
Is that allowed for a doctor? What do you know? I'm assuming you tried to stalk this guy.
Yeah. I got all the girls on the case.
What did we find out?
Yeah, so he's relatively around my age, a few years older, from the city I live in now. Originally left for med school, came back into fitness, music, all the same things that I am. Seems like a pretty interesting guy.
Is he single? Do we know?
That we don't know, but I did not see a wedding ring.
Is his Instagram public or private?
Private.
That's tough.
Makes it harder.
How many followers does he have?
I don't remember, but I don't, it wasn't a crazy amount.
Honestly, follow him.
What are the rules for patient
Is
doctor
he's still your
Instagram following in the modern age?
We had a call like this years back. I think he was a chiropractor, and I think I told her to jokingly. I mean, of course, you should shoot your shot for sure, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, it seems like there are more doctors than eligible men. So, it's
Yeah, and that's the thing. Normally, I'm really not one to be forward or even to contemplate something like this at all. But I've been single for the past 5 years, moved to a new city 3 years ago, and the dating scene here is just horrible. And not for lack of trying, I go on dates, but the guys I'm meeting are just so far off the mark that it's a quick no,
And why are they off? Why are they off the mark?
I'm living in the South now. I'm from the Northeast originally. So I think there are a lot of like life values that are misaligned here is part of it. I also think dating in your 30s is interesting because it seems to me the guys I'm meeting are fall into one of two camps of the like Peter Pan's never growing up type of guy, or I don't know what. I guess only one camp. That's what you tend to see out there.
Okay. Oh, we'll table that for a second. Let's get back to the doctor. Yeah, actually, I think you send that follow request through. I think
All
that's.
right.
I think you send that right. Let's break down like what the possible scenarios are. Scenario number one: he's not on very often. He's too busy being a doctor and saving the world that he just doesn't. He's not on Instagram. He's not active. He never accepts your request because he's just not on it, right? And so you send that request. He doesn't accept it. You get nothing from it. So know that scenario one of you sending that request, he could definitely not accept it, but it really doesn't tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
When's the next time you're supposed to go to the doctor?
In about a month.
In about a month. All right. So you could do that. And then let's assume he doesn't respond. You're just like that request is pending. Back up. You said he has the Riz, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that to be interesting, given that it's a doctor's office. Do you think he was flirtatious at all?
No, not unprofessional. And it's hard because, like, it's the first doctor's appointment, right? So his whole job is like make the patient feel comfortable, get to know each other, etc.
So then what was so charming about him?
He looked like he had just stepped off of a boat, not like he was working in a doctor's office.
So just like perfectly disheveled in a way?
Yeah.
Like that he had like a Oxford shirt kind of unbuttoned a little bit and a little just messy and kind of half rolled up sleeves.
Yeah, a whole bit.
So I get it. But like what was his vibe? Like, I don't know, like
Very chatty, very friendly, very engaging.
and you couldn't read whether it was like you were getting a little extra attention because
I was so thrown off guard. And honestly, the whole time I was just thinking like, oh God, he's seen my chart, you know?
what's in that chart?
It's never, you never write into your doctor with your exciting news.
Yeah. You can't find out if he has a girl. Yeah. He probably has a girlfriend. Is he tall?
Average height. Yeah, he could.
It could. I think you send that friend request. All right. Because then if he accepts it, interesting. Right? Then you could stalk a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's that. And then let's say there's no evidence of a girlfriend. If he's single, then he is also frustrated with the dating world out there, right? There's a good chance he has been just deep in the books, so to speak. The fact that he doesn't have a wedding ring, I think, is a good sign. Because I think, like, from a doctor standpoint, it's very similar to like being a professional athlete, right? It comes with a lot of intensity and hard work. And I think athletes go one or two directions. And I think it's similar to doctors. They're either marrying their college sweetheart, so to speak, and they're like locked in. They know they know that they're professional athletes, or they know they're going through med school, and so they just settle down and they just lock it down and be like, this is the girl I'm going to be with, and I'm going to start having kids. She's going to be by my side when I'm going through med school and blah, blah, blah. And she wants to lock it down early because she wants to make sure that she's going to benefit from this investment, so to speak, right? And so typically, I think men in these very attractive careers, either get married quickly or remain bachelors for a while because they just focus, then the other scenario is the athlete or doctor who's just, it's like, listen, I'm going to focus on my job. I'm too young to settle down. I don't have the high school sweetheart. In the meantime, I'm going to have a good time and I'm taking advantage. I'm the good looking guy who's going to med school or a doctor and I'm going to get a lot of sex and yada, yada, yada. So the fact that he's not married, good chance he's single. Maybe. I don't know. The big question is that whether he's single or not, what are you going to do about the fact that you are a patient of his? And regardless of what he thinks about you, it's just like there are definitely rules, so to speak. Bold move of him to ask you out. That's for sure. That's not going to happen, right?
I mean, I've only seen him for 2 appointments, so it's not like I'd be plenty fine to find a new doctor.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think
Not
we're already assuming that if you get a date with
Yeah.
this guy, you're just like,
You're moving on.
yeah, I'm gonna have to fire you. And that's kind of your first joke, right? You're just like, I think with the woman years ago who called in, she had the hots for her chiropractor. He ended up having a girlfriend, by the way. It sounds like, but it was kind of like good news, bad news. Like bad news, I'm actually. Do you know any good doctors? Because I'm actually looking for a new one. And honestly, that's the line.
That's
You
the
know,
line.
if you DM them, you're like, 2 questions. 1, do you know any other good doctors? Because I'm looking for a new one. Second question, do you want to go on and out to dinner?
All right.
You can't send them a message, even if you're not friends with them. Is that how that works?
I don't even know. I've never tried that. I think you can. They just don't, they might not see it. It goes into like a special request folder.
Your second option is to go crazy. And by crazy, I mean just do something that would be pretty bold, fairly brave. And that is at that next doctor visit, just be like, all right, I know, like, whatever. Listen, if I have to switch doctors, I'll switch doctors because I don't want to make this uncomfortable. But are you single? And if so, do you want to grab a coffee? And you're just going to have to get through whatever, if he says yes, great. If he's like, hey, I got a girlfriend, or I don't think so, I don't know, I'm not really, you get any other answer other than yes, you're just going to have to like grit your teeth and get through the fucking awkwardness and then call up the girlies and have a laugh and just laugh at the situation. But what do you have to lose?
Find a new doctor.
Yeah, what do you have to lose other than a little pride,
Yeah, that's true. And like it's so, I don't mean to sound like, like I'm exaggerating, but it's really is slim pickings out there.
I think follow them. Step 1. If you can send a message, send that message. It's
All right.
and it's
What do I have to lose?
nothing. Well, you don't even know if he's a good doctor. Honestly, he's probably average. He's young. He doesn't,
Yeah.
he's lacking experience. He hasn't seen it all. He can't be that good. He's got a better face than he does doctor experience.
Yeah.
You might be too young to be my doctor, but you're perfect for my boyfriend.
Okay.
And almost certainly, if he is single, this is not the first time he's had to deal with this. So he probably knows how to deal with this.
Probably true.
I'm going to have to get an update one way or the other.
Yes, definitely. And if you get any doctors calling in asking if they should ask out their patients, you know where to find me.
All right. Well, yeah, there's probably some HIPAA laws against that. I don't know. But there's another good line. Is there a HIPAA law against us being a thing? I don't know. Do you think you have what it takes to ask him out in a doctor's office?
I'd have to gear up really hard for that. That would be hard.
Do you think it's realistic that he would say yes? If you guys were both single, like if you met him at a bar.
I feel like he's more likely to say yes on Instagram than in his place of work. If I met him in a bar, yeah, maybe.
It would just be weird to like give him a note. I think a lot of people do that.
Give him a note in person.
Right. Well, I'm just saying if
Write it into the patient portal.
If he doesn't accept your friend request, you can't assume he saw it.
Yeah, he probably did.
You think so? You think he's pretty online? Does it say how many followers he has?
I think it was like 2,000. It was really not a lot.
2,000 is kind of a lot for most people. Who has no one? He doesn't have 2,000 friends. I know that much.
1,300.
For a private account?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's pretty online. His Instagram is probably popping. He'll probably see it.
He'll probably see it.
Yeah, send him that request.
Okay.
And then send him that note.
Okay. I'm gonna do it.
All right. Well, I'm invested.
I will keep you all posted.
All right. Well, good luck. Can't wait to find out.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you.
Bye.
Bye.
We spend so much time caring for the skin on our face, but what about our neck? I have to say, working in the plastic surgery field, every surgeon I always worked for was like, yep, the neck is the first to go. The neck is the first to start aging. It's the first thing that shows you aging. And so why not protect it? With Go Pure Beauty, they have created their revolutionary Tighten and Lift neck cream. It's perfect for your summer skincare routine. Powered by clinically proven active ingredients, this advanced formula is designed to visibly firm, smooth, and rejuvenate the delicate skin on your neck and chest in as little as 4 to 8 weeks. It's magic. Here's the thing, the skin on your neck is thinner. It's more delicate and less oily than the skin on your face, which means it needs some extra love, especially in the sun and heat. Go Pure's firming complex targets the unique concerns of the neck while nourishing and strengthening your skin for more lifted, youthful look. For a limited time, our listeners get 25% off Go Pure with code VIALL at checkout. Just head to gopurebeauty.com/VIALL. Use code VIALL and you're all set. And after you buy, do us a favor. When they ask you where you heard about Go Pure, tell them it was from our show. Right now, Go Pure has a crazy deal for a limited time. You can get 57% off the Tighten and Lift Neck Cream and Sculpt and Tone Arm Cream Bundle. You can also get 25% off all other products by using code VIALL at gopure.com. So head to gopure.com and use code VIALL for a huge discount. And after you buy, do us a favor. When they ask you where you heard about Go Pure, tell them it was from our show.
How's it going?
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm 27 and I'm wondering if it is wrong to date this guy when I am more interested in his friend.
All right. Well, I'm assuming there's a backstory.
There is.
So tell us about it.
Okay, so last November, I went to a wedding and I met these two guys at this wedding. And mind you, at that time, I was in like a serious relationship and they were both aware of that. So nothing like inappropriate went down, but one of these guys definitely kind of made it pretty obvious that he was interested or was just kind of like trying to talk to me, just like being friendly. And so we like talked a little bit throughout the night and it just seemed like we had like a good amount of things in common. And he seemed, just like a really good, genuine guy, very attractive, tall, all great things. And he was like drinking throughout the night. So, it could have been a little bit of a liquid courage. But at the end of the night, he literally said to me, he's like, okay, if you ever find yourself not in a relationship, come find me. And I was kind of like, okay, that's very forward, but just kind of like went about my life, didn't really think anything of it. Fast forward, maybe 6 months, I am not in that relationship anymore. And I'm fairly certain, and I mean, now I am very certain that he is in a relationship, seemingly very serious and seemingly, happy with this person.
The guy who made the bold move is the one who's now in a relationship that you're, I guess, more interested in?
Correct. So nothing I can really do there. But the other guy at the wedding that didn't talk to me as much, but I, still noticed him. He's a very good looking guy. He has since reached out to me and asked me out. And I kind of friend zoned him at first because of this whole situation where I was like, I really like his friend, but his friend is taken. But if, by chance, maybe they don't work out, then I want to like have a chance to date him and, see what that could be. But if I go out with his friend and they're pretty good friends, I feel like that would like kind of ruin any chance.
How did the guy number 2, we'll call him, the guy who you're considering going out with, did he just randomly reach out to you?
So we have like a pretty good mutual friend, and I guess he asked our mutual friend about me and like found out I was single. And then our mutual friend told me like, hey, he's probably gonna reach out to you at some point, like do what you want. And so he did. He like messaged me on Instagram.
Did you ask the mutual friend about the other guy?
I did. And they just said like, yeah, he's in a serious relationship. I want to say at this point they've probably been together for like 9 months, but I feel like there was like just this timing overlap of like a few months where like we missed each other.
To be clear, you don't know much about either of these men, correct?
True, yes. However, so I guess another part of it is like, so guy number 1, we'll call him Jack.
Okay.
That's the guy that I'm like more interested in, fake name. And then we'll call other guy Austin.
All right.
Fake names. But I guess like the impression that I got from Jack and from the people, like the mutual people that we know, is like he's very much like, was looking for something serious. And just like seems way more my type as far as like really nice guy, like very genuine, was just like looking for a relationship. Obviously he is in one now. And then Austin, his friend, he kind of like, it's hard to tell because he definitely doesn't give that same energy that he's looking for a serious commitment. Because ultimately, I want to get married and like have a family, and I date very intentionally and very seriously. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know if he's looking for something serious. I don't know if he's just kind of in it for fun, like trying to hook up, which I'm not gonna hook up with him. And I think he knows that. Like he knows that I have pretty clear boundaries.
How would he know that?
So I did go out with him. I did go on a date with him, and I basically like just kind of said it straight up. Because he said something about like it seems like I'm pretty serious about like what I want, like I know what I want, and like I don't mess around when it comes to dating. And I was like, yeah, that's very true. I don't. So it's kind of like I don't know exactly why he's pursuing me. If he knows that I'm very serious about dating, like maybe he is. I don't know. So yeah, I'm like
I mean,
not.
a couple of things.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. How long have you been single for?
Since March.
Okay, not that long. Have you not hooked up with anyone since?
No.
Okay.
And I, as much as I would love to have sex, because I'm definitely a very physical person, but I know myself where like
Yeah.
emotions and, emotional intimacy and physical intimacy are very much connected. And I can get attached
Yeah. Well,
easily. And I like am very much a hopeless romantic. So when I
Yeah.
fall, like I fall hard.
Yeah, it's great self-awareness, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
try.
I've said this multiple times, but like hookup culture has fucked up a lot of things. And I think it's fucked up a lot because I think like, the like, women empowerment and sex positivity, while all are great things, like it doesn't change the reality of how sex impacts all of us,
Mhm.
and how it changes the landscape of any dating situation.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are self-aware about what you need emotionally and how sex impacts that, and the fact that you are able to enforce that boundary for yourself, because that's what boundaries are, is just, that's great. And you definitely save yourself probably a lot of emotional distress and frustration by being able to hold that
Yeah,
line.
I appreciate that.
Well,
I think I've done a lot of work to get there.
That's amazing. Second part is, it doesn't really, listen, I've said this before. I've written it in my book. Every fuckboy is someone's future partner, so to speak.
Yeah.
Jack, as you called it, he's a fuckboy too. Was a fuckboy,
Yeah,
doesn't
probably.
because he could, right? And like because he's a guy and probably detaches from sex like most other guys do in a way that they could fuck around without,
Yeah.
And so I have never in my life as a guy, when a girl says to a guy who has confidence in himself, just so you know, this is how I move, whatever. If he likes you, that's not going to stop him from liking you. And it's
Right.
not because he is thinking maliciously, I'm going to get her to have sex with me so I can like, ha, 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 ha. It's just like,
Yeah.
he's just more like, I don't know, I like you, sure.
And that's kind of why I think this is going to be hard, because I am trying so hard to keep him at an arm's length that he's just going to want it more.
Yeah.
And he's just going to try harder because he's definitely that kind of guy where.
Yeah, he'll convince himself he's in love, probably,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Let's forget about the guy number one, Jack, for a set aside. He doesn't exist as far as you're concerned in this moment.
Yeah.
How did date number one go? And are you interested in seeing Austin again?
Date number one was good. I guess technically we've like hung out a few times, but the first time was like in a group setting.
Sure.
And we like went out. He tried to kiss me a few times, and both times I like rejected him. And then therefore afterwards I kind of like friend zoned him. And anyways, eventually he reached back out and I agreed to like go on a date, and it was good. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and he very much like wined and dined me and took me to like a really nice restaurant, and we had drinks and all this stuff. And yeah, we did make out a little bit. And I mean, I'm probably gonna see him again, like if I'm being honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So it sounds like there's some interest there. You like him.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to get too invested and like attached if he's not serious. And I guess he's got like everything going for him, except I The only thing I don't know is like the emotional availability part, which to me is very important
I'm curious,
to find out.
your last boyfriend, how long did you make him wait before you hooked up?
Not long.
So that's going to be the
Um,
tricky part for you, right? Okay? Because like what you've
yeah.
gotten good at, right, is knowing yourself, right? Setting that boundary by like I'm not hooking up on the first, second, or third date. I'm not, like and maybe in the
Mhm.
past you were just like YOLO, I want to have fun too. I like
Yeah.
sex. I should be allowed to do that. You did it. You didn't like how you felt afterwards, yada yada yada. So now you've
Mhm.
made those adjustments. And yeah, you are dating to find a husband. You're not dating to like fuck, right? Or have sex. The hard part for you is going to be when you like this guy, right? You're attracted to him. You've had some good times. You like where it's going. What are you going to do on date 14 and you've been hanging out consistently for 6 weeks? Because I can tell you that I don't care I don't care if you hung out every day for those 6 weeks. The fact that he is a guy who is used to not waiting long to have sex,
Mhm.
and the fact that you are in 2025 one of the few people out there who has that self-awareness and confidence in herself and can hold that boundary and say, no, I'm not going to do that, just makes you insanely attractive to him and every other guy, right? So to your point, he's just going to be like, it's going to be like
A challenge.
a
Like that.
challenge, right? And so, and
Yeah.
with that, he will convince himself it's not a challenge. You just won't really know the difference. And all I'm saying is 6 weeks is just not enough time to build a
Yeah.
bond with someone where you can really make sure that like sex won't change the equation. And you're almost going to have to get past a point where it really isn't about the challenge anymore. He really enjoys spending time with you.
Yeah.
It's you're gonna almost have to remind him, just like, hey, it's gonna almost sound radical to him, where you're gonna be like, look, I don't like if a woman, when I was single, if a woman I was attracted to was like really was like, I don't know, we're dating for 3 months, like I don't even know,
Yeah.
because no one does that anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
But listen, also I want you to give yourself grace in the sense that like that to that point there's a challenge. Is like all right, as far as the other like just like let's just consider Jack for a second, right? The reality is
Yeah.
you don't know Jack, right? And you had
Yeah.
a great meet cute with Jack, and he gave you a sexy, confident line at the end that felt was like, oh my god. And then you were like, whatever was going on with your boyfriend at the time, there you told yourself, if I was single, I would have absolutely said yes to this guy. And as things went bad with your old relationship, he was a reminder for you, Jack, about
Yeah.
what was available to you as a single woman. And so Jack represents this idea of this person, and you've definitely built him up in your head. So there is that,
For
right?
sure. For sure.
Without
Yeah.
question. Let's assume that all things being equal, you are more compatible with Jack than you are Austin. And this is a sad story of just like wrong timing and it's just things not lining up. It's just not your fucking time yet.
Yeah.
And this idea that you're afraid of saying yes to Austin because what if Jack breaks up with his girlfriend, and
Yeah.
if you don't have this might help you out, but because if you don't have sex with Austin,
Yeah.
almost certainly that will
It'll be okay.
it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
That's the hard part.
And even if you do, I don't know. Like, listen, it takes a more mature man to not have that bother him.
Yeah.
I don't know how close these guys are, if they're more casual friends or besties.
I think they're pretty dang close. Like if I do start like seeing Austin, there's a good chance like I would hang out around Jack and his girlfriend at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's going to want to be your friend.
Maybe, which would be so much worse. I can hold out on sex, but it's like, I guess for how long to hope that maybe they break up in the next, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, when maybe they won't, and maybe they are like supposed to get married. And if so, like that's great. I'm happy for them, but it's like there's always like what if? But I
does
also
Jack
can't
know you're
wait
single?
around. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Actually, yes, he 100% does. Yeah.
All right, then I think that's a data point that you need to acknowledge.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it means he's probably pretty into his girlfriend, and it's going pretty well. And
Yeah,
from
it seems like it is from an
from,
outside perspective.
from his
So that's why
mind,
I'm like, I'm not gonna get in the
yeah,
way of
yeah.
them if they're in love. That's great, you know.
I think you need to get out of your head about Jack. I think
Okay.
you got to let it go. I really
Yeah.
think, yeah.
I think I
Because
agree.
he
I mean,
probably knows he probably knows his buddy is going out with you,
yeah.
and he doesn't care, and it's
Well,
fine.
maybe he does, but I mean, yeah, he doesn't care. He's
He
in a
doesn't care.
relationship,
He doesn't
so
care.
it's fine.
He doesn't care. I mean, yeah, if you took your clothes off in front of him, he'd look, but he doesn't care. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
a guy who has the confidence to do what he did with you at a wedding is a guy like the difference between what you experienced with him and what he experienced with you is, especially in 2025, you're just not. I mean, the last two callers I talked to made it very clear, and I know how hard it is out there, of just like how hard it is to have a moment like you had at a wedding with a
Yeah.
guy who can have a good conversation, seems like he wants what you want, and like hits you with that like, well,
Mm-hmm.
that like sexy line where you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
that left a mark on you. You know what I'm saying? And for him,
Definitely.
he's pulling that he was pulling that, whether he's dating to get married or not, this is a guy who knows how to do that. And he's confident in doing that. And he didn't leave. He might have left being like, oh, what a great girl. But like,
I mean, to be fair, like a few weeks after the wedding, he made an Instagram account. Like he didn't have it in one before, and he made one, and I was like one of the first few people that he followed. And he did end up like DMing me at one point, just like responding to a random story, like just in a friendly way. Like it wasn't even flirty or anything. And I was still in a relationship at that point, but I definitely took a note because I was like, okay, obviously he wasn't that drunk at the wedding and he was still thinking about it like weeks later, which I was kind of like, fuck. I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter in the scheme of things, but
there's no perfect path forward, right? Because if you
and he doesn't have an Instagram anymore. He since then has deleted it again. Otherwise, I honestly would have just DM'd him and said the same shit. Like, if you ever find yourself single again, let me know. And like, that's it. But I can't even do that because he doesn't have an Instagram anymore.
he's completely offline,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Which is like, okay, kind of a green flag, to be honest.
I think there's not being that online and then there's offline. I don't know.
I don't know. He like seems like very much like husband material kind of guy, which is why it's kind of hard because
I think you keep seeing Austin as long as
Okay.
you like him. You take it real slow
yeah.
and very friendly.
Okay.
Yeah, and definitely very slow physically. And maybe you'll see Jack sometime soon. The question is, if you see Jack,
Probably.
the question
Yeah.
is, if you see Jack, you're going to have to read the room and you're going to have to see
Yeah.
if there's like a grin or an awkwardness.
I just feel like there wouldn't be because
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. All right. Do you think, the little bit you know about Jack, do you think he's the
Mhm.
type of guy to give his now girlfriend a heads up?
About me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know like what kind of heads up he would give.
If I were Jack
Yeah.
and I met you at a wedding and we
Mhm.
had a talk and I was single and I thought you were attractive and where I was flirty with you and I found out you had a boyfriend and I fed you that line and I moved on. And even if I like left and was like, damn, fuck, man, like I really was feeling her. And then I even created an Instagram account and kind of like followed up on you and gave a little peek and only to confirm that, yep, she's in fact has a boyfriend. Then I was just like, whatever, she's got a girlfriend. And then a boyfriend. And then I met Natalie, my now wife, right?
Mhm.
And then my buddy who was at the same wedding was like, turns out Taylor's single.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask her out. And he's like, yeah, well, good for you, man. Go. And then I found out and then he was like, well, let's all get together. I'm going to bring Taylor. I would 100% have told Natalie right off the jump. I would have been like, just so you know, like I definitely like flirted with this girl at a wedding. I even asked her out. Now he's going out with her. Nothing happened, but like I would 100%.
Yeah.
And if he's the guy you think he is,
Mhm.
he would. That's the only right thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe I'm.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I could see him doing that for sure.
Wouldn't you if you were her?
Yeah, well, I would want to know.
You'd want to know. You'd want to know if
Yeah.
you were like,
Yeah.
there's nothing worse, right, than being in a group of people and someone knows something that's juicy about you directly or indirectly that you probably should know or that you might feel a certain way, but they're not telling you because they've decided maybe you don't need to know or they don't want to upset you and blah, 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 blah. I mean, those are the things you want to know more than anything. So,
I mean, there's a good chance that like, because we have mutual friends and I've like asked our mutual friends about
him.
Jack, like there's a good chance that like they all know that I've like asked about him. And like Austin might even know that I like asked about his friend. And I mean, if he asked me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because he seemed more serious about dating, and he like kind of doesn't, you know.
So he still seems like he's unserious about dating.
It's kind of like I can't tell.
How old is Austin?
He's almost 29.
How old is Jack?
Same age.
Okay.
And like you talked about this before, but they're both very much like in the kind of top 1% of men because they're also tall, attractive, like very successful. Like he owns a home, like like over 6 foot. And I'm like, fuck, I don't even need an over 6 foot man. Like I'm 5'4". I don't need them to be that tall, but he just happens to be. And so I'm like, he like knows he's hot, like and he's got good, he's got game. So I'm sure he picks up women very easily. So part of me is like, why would he want a serious relationship right now? I don't know if I believe it. Not that he said that that's what he's looking for, but.
Well, you could just listen, like you're a confident person and that's a great thing. And the difference between what I assume is you and a lot of other women out there is like, well, one, it's just tough to be confident out there because of dating climate, but like, it's just tough to have the discipline to like set and enforce your boundaries. And the more you are just more like, I know what I want and I'm just not going to fuck around anymore, the more again, like whether it's because it makes him or you will be more like that is an attractive quality, period. Right. And Austin is going to have to decide whether you're worth it or not.
Yeah.
Most guys are full of shit because they'll say like, I know I want to have a family. Pause, someday, and that you're just not sure about when that part is. Where you're assuming that Jack is like, listen, when I find the right one, I'm ready. These guys are in their late 20s. So they're still, in my mind, they're still really young, but in their mind, they're about to hit 30. And mentally, most guys, even the tall, confident ones, are not, if they've had a decade of dating and having fun, they're not necessarily like, it may end up that way, but I don't think they're planning and having another decade of just meaningless sex and casual dating. It may end up that way because they can, and dating culture is what it is. But you're just going to have to I think the more confident you are about what you want and showing more than telling, you'll find out pretty quickly where Austin stands about even the potential of dating. Yeah, and I think you focus on that. And I think the fantasy of Jack is
I have
just
to
that.
Forget about that right now.
For now. And then like, listen, if you end up, I'll be really curious when you guys end up getting together as a foursome, so to speak. And I'd be really curious if she already knows and says something to you because he said something to her. I would honestly see it as what the crazy part is, and this is the kind of fucked up part, is that let's assume 2 weeks from now, this scenario happens, right? And in 2 weeks, you're not going to be in love with Austin. You're not going to have had sex with him yet. You're still going to be very exploring things. It's going to be, very casual, very friendly, very chill. And there's going to be a part of you that's going to want Jack to give you a look or something, or make a comment or something, some kind of validation that lets you know that while he is single and happy and content, that like he didn't forget that time he meant. And if nothing else, kind of give you the, just not in the cards for us, right? Like it's going to be a bit of a red flag.
If he does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly don't think he would. Like, I think he's pretty, like, very respectful.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see, but I honestly I don't want to get to that situation where I'm around them with Austin at the same time, but I could definitely see it happening. So, oh,
Do you think you could tell if another woman was into your guy?
probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Have
I
you stalked her?
would be that obvious.
Do you know what she
Stalked
looks?
her?
Do you know what she looks like?
Oh, I for sure stalked her. Yeah.
And do you think
And she's like perfect. Like honestly, seems incredible. So I
she's like
don't know.
yeah, she's not like she's your equal, so to speak, or you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't even know if I could compete with her. So I'm kind of like, okay, I get why he's like very much seemingly in love. So
Well, maybe she's an emotion. Maybe she's a nightmare. Personally, I don't know. Like,
maybe.
because all you know is like what you're judging this mostly off of looks.
I mean, no, I would say like what other people have said or like just I mean
They have nice things to say about her.
lots of stalking too.
Gotcha.
Yeah. She
Okay.
seems like a very nice person and like he seems very healthy, I guess. So it's like I don't think there's like toxicity. I have no idea. I don't know these people,
I think you pursue Austin.
Yeah.
No, just be very self-aware about your boundaries. Take it slow.
Mhm.
Listen, if you end up hooking, listen, I think you do got to let Jack go, and let's take
Yeah.
Jack out of the picture again.
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic it is, assuming you keep liking more and more about Austin, and things just are going in the right direction. That like 2 months from now, and you're feeling, it's you realize that you love spending time with this guy, and
Mhm.
he's seeming you're gonna hook up with him probably.
Yeah, probably.
And that might change things a little bit.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
might regret it, so to speak. I mean, at that
Yeah.
point, I just think I guess what I'm saying is like, don't listen, at some point, you can't protect yourself from frustration, pain, disappointment. And all you can do is what you're doing now, which is be more intentional, hold that
Mhm.
line a little bit more, make sure there at least is some rapport, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, I don't think I would have sex with him at all unless we get to a point where there's like a deep level of trust and like emotional connection.
yeah, I know, but that's hard to really figure
Yeah.
out, right? And
Yeah.
even the whole like,
Yeah.
if you were, I thought you were about to say I wouldn't have sex with him until there was some level of commitment, but even then,
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say that, yeah, too.
sure, but I'd be careful
It's hard
saying
to
that to him
yeah.
because fine, all
Right.
right, cool, let's commit.
And then the next week it's like, just kidding.
Yeah, or more likely
Yeah.
he just slow bleeds it for like a month so he doesn't seem like an asshole, and then like,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
but you just notice emotionally he's a little different afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel? I mean, this is the kind of a weird question, but how do you feel about like going to third base or second base with him?
I feel like I could not. Like, I think if my clothes came off at all, I'd be like, let's just have sex. I
Right.
don't think personally I could
The reason
do
why
anything more than like kiss. Yeah. Without just giving in fully.
All right. Well, this is not scientific. This is just my opinion of being your
Mhm.
guy. But I think when it comes to men are very physical visually,
Mhm.
right? And I think when
Mhm.
men meet women, there's like, quite honestly, there's a question men ask themselves, and that is, do I want to see her naked or do I not give a fuck what she
Mhm.
looks like naked? You know?
Yeah.
And naked, and I really think it's more than that than like, oh, I just want to have sex with her, so to speak, because like sex is not as I don't know, like, but letting like making out with a guy and going to second base and doing some stuff. I'm guessing, you tell me I'm not a woman, like it doesn't have the same emotional impact on you as actually going all the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the same.
Yeah.
I would say it's still like creates a level of like attachment though.
No doubt. But
Yeah.
I think all men want to know if there's like physical chemistry, because I mean, men and women care about that too.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is this, like, to kind of split the difference, and maybe you could extend the time if you can show that willpower by like rounding some bases but not going all the way home. I
Yeah.
think that will. I think you might be able to get a sample of how he might be with you post sex,
Yeah.
type of thing, and that way it feels like there's less pressure on actually having the sex, but like
Right.
he feel
It's like I'm
like,
giving him a little bit, but not everything.
yeah, right, and then he can decide whether, like, did I really enjoy, you know, that,
Yeah.
do it, because
Yeah.
uh, the act of sex for men is, it's not
It's
a,
physical. It's like it's
yeah,
mostly physical.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And men
Yeah.
are have emotional needs, but like, yeah, how do you, men are going to fall in love with you when when they miss you, and when they think about you, and
Mhm.
I think there is a level of emotional intimacy that combines with physical intimacy, like with men. It's weird because I don't think men are very good at foreplay. Like, they're obviously notorious for like not being good at that.
Mhm.
But I think the men who are able to do that, I do think men emotionally connect with that part of sex, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Okay.
One, if they're willing to do that with a woman, it shows a level of caring
Yeah.
and vulnerability for men. And if
Mhm.
men are vulnerable with you, and open up to you in a way or any
Yeah.
way, that's that they fall for you in that way.
Mhm.
And the sex has not, it's not, sex is not vulnerable for men. It's exercise for them,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And so I honestly think that if you're able to hold off from that, but like, yeah, have some physical intimacy without the sex, I think
Mhm.
it'll help you understand how you guys feel each other better, because
Okay.
again, yeah, I really think there's something there. Let me know if I'm right if you try it out, but
Okay. I mean, I'm definitely gonna hold on that for like a while, but I think I could do that. If he earns it, that's the thing.
yeah, well, don't take yourself that seriously a little bit. I mean,
What do you mean?
just be careful. Well, because when you say things like the mentality, if he earns it,
Mhm.
we kind of agreed earlier that you don't want a guy to pursue you just because he's competitive.
Yeah, that's true.
So the mentality, if he earns it, is
Yeah.
you're instigating a competitive side to whatever guy you're dating
Right.
when you have that
I think
mindset.
it's more so if I mean, I've even told myself like it's not like it's not happening and unless he were to like show me that he really truly is interested in me and likes me and cares about me and like
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
emotionally open up to me and like be vulnerable with me.
totally. Just don't make physical intimacy a carrot you're dangling, because then it just
Yeah.
becomes something he wants to chase.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't give him like measurables to meet or goal. Like, if you
Yeah.
want this, then do that. Just be like, listen,
Yeah,
I take
no.
things really slow physically. That's all I'm going to say. But if you want to kiss a
Mhm.
guy, kiss the guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like, don't hold out
Yeah.
to be difficult,
Right.
or because you're not, if you're feeling it, just
Yeah.
fucking make out, right? If you want to do it,
Yeah.
but that's when you have to,
Done.
that's when you have to know yourself about, hey, I like this. I like where it's going. I'm not ready to go to this part of the relationship. So no matter what I say yes to, I got to enforce that boundary, because that, like, it's when things get hot and heavy, it's harder to enforce those boundaries. So that's what you got to know. But don't play that
Yeah.
game of cat and mouse and dangling the
Right.
carrot and being like, I don't,
Yeah. I don't think I'll do that.
cool.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you if you're to really get to know this guy, it has to feel organic and natural and normal, and like as things
Mhm.
progress, everything has to progress.
Mhm. Yeah.
Type of thing. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does.
Okay. Is this helpful? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I honestly needed to hear it from like someone else to like put Jack in the past. Because I just can't hold out for that when I have no idea what could happen. And ultimately I don't know him at all really as a person. I know very little. So yeah, I guess I just got to see how this goes. see how this plays out.
Yeah, and if Austin's really as much of a fuckboy as you're worried he might be, you should be able to figure that out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and if what Austin is a guy who like, yeah, I don't know, wasn't that serious about finding his person in his 20s, but like if he meets the right girl, he can be serious and can be just pay attention to certain things, right? Like for
Yeah.
example, so many people are very like always have excuses for why the right thing is hard to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The right thing for Jack is to give his new girlfriend a heads up that this girl that she's about to interact with is someone that he asked out in the past and who had a boyfriend at the time, and now she's like that's, and he's a good chance he won't, right?
Yeah.
And forgetting about Jack, but Austin, pay attention to, you know, how people should move and what and who have high character in the face of like, you know, high character is when people are just like that would be a hard, and he does the hard thing because not because it's popular or right, but just because he has conviction about it. You know, because it sounds like that's the type of person you're looking for, right? Who like wants to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not 22. And I think any 29-year-old guy who wants to get married someday would be happy to settle. Like, and if he is that much of a fuckboy where he's still very much he's a very unserious guy about dating, you should be able to figure that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so. Especially if I'm not gonna have sex with him.
Well, I do think you're gonna have you will have to be a little vulnerable. Like, you know, you're gonna have to like,
and that's fine. I can definitely I have no problem being vulnerable. Sometimes I'm a little too vulnerable.
Sure. Well, let me ask you this. Like, let's say you and Austin hang out for like a month. Wherever you are, you're not having sex, no home base. And he's like, let's take a long weekend together, wherever. It's like a trip, and you share a hotel room and things like stuff like that. You might, you know, you're gonna have to do the honeymoon phase a little bit, even while you're taking things slow.
Yeah.
In a weird, you know, way. And just give Austin an opportunity to step up and give you boyfriend material vibes.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm invested. I'd love to know where this lands.
Oh man. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
No. I also have to say, like, this is just like a really cool moment right now. I've like watched you literally since Bachelor days, and like listened to the show for many years. So this is just kind of cool, like full circle. I don't know.
Well, I appreciate.
I was happy to finally have like some juicy question to ask you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and thanks for calling. Thanks for listening and following along. And it's I said this before, that like, you know, this Ask Nick is the most rewarding part of this show. The other stuff is fun, a little toxic, and a little messy, but this is, I learn a lot too, and this is fun for me. So thanks for being a part of the show.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, please follow up, because I am dying to know one way or the other.
Okay.
What happens, especially if the four of you get together.
Especially if we sleep together?
No, sure, that too. But if the four of you get together, I really want to know if Jack gives her the heads up.
But how would I know that? You think she would say something to me?
Yeah.
I doubt it. I don't know.
What would you do? Wouldn't you just break the ice?
I don't know. Probably not.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, you might not know. Well,
yeah.
Also, because if he tells her, again, if I were to tell Natalie, right, early in our dating situation, just so you know, I just organically would know that she is gonna I would be so, I just wouldn't give you anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So if he doesn't give you anything and just says, "Hey, it's good to see you again," you know?
Yeah.
And just very much, "This is my girlfriend. Nice to meet you," and like almost pretends that little meet cute you guys had never happened, but acknowledges that he's met you before, then there's a good chance he told her.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess I'm really just more curious about how he handled himself.
Yeah.
Because, I'd be curious.
All right. Well, I'll let you know.
All right. Well, good luck out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.